Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Saturday, April 8th, 2023. And my good friend Liz Tarot is letting me borrow her one of her Zoom sessions while I'm still waiting on Zoom to work on mine. So things are going to look a little different tonight. I want to discuss the candidacy bid of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. He announced this past week that he would be seeking the Democratic nomination in the upcoming presidential race here in the United States. And Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an interesting person. He has, one of the things I really admire about him is that when he has a platform, he uses it to share facts, information, and his personal beliefs, not simply to disparage an opponent. And I really admire that trait in him, very much so. I think a lot of politicians could take a page from that book and run on what they believe, what they think, what their platform is, and just leave the opposing personalities to stew in their own juices. Now, at the end of this video, I will have a link to a Facebook page that has a couple of quotes, an article that I've compiled for you, has a couple of quotes by Mr. Kennedy. Also, when he announced he was going to run the MSM, their heads exploded. It totally caught them off guard. And immediately, there's a compilation there of some, they had a very coordinated spin about how he's, about him. And I just think it's very amusing because the most likely contender for the Republican ticket is Mr. T. And if Mr. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., follows through with his plan to bid for the Democratic, he has a very strong name recognition. And the mainstream isn't very delighted with him. So wouldn't it be wonderful if there were two candidates that the mainstream media did not adore? They may actually resort to some balanced reporting, but oh gosh, can't be that optimistic, can we? Another thing I liked about Mr. Kennedy is his he didn't wait for a slow news day to make his announcement. In fact, we were all caught up in the drama around the indictment of Mr. T when he did his. That speaks of some assurance of his confidence in his name recognition, a family name, as well as his personal reputation. And I enjoyed that. I did. So he didn't need some of the petty calculations that other people might have to employ to get some news time. So let's see what the cards have to say about Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and his bid for the Democratic election, okay, for the Democratic name on the ticket. All right, so the question in the universe is, we're asking, as usual, for information and insights into the candidacy of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. And if there's any hints about the political outcome in future that you might enjoy, that would be appreciated too, but we'll leave that up to the universe, okay? Let's see what the universe wants to tell us. Okay, again, we're seeking insights and information into the bid for the Democratic nomination that was done this week by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., including but not limited to political potential and possible outcomes of this surprising move. Now, to be quite honest and fair, there's been a lot of speculation in alt media and in alt media discussion boards about wouldn't it be great if Robert F. Kennedy Jr. became the Mr. T's VP bid and have a uniparty ticket. Let's see what the universe wants to let us know, though. Our first card is the Four of Swords. 10 of Pentacles, Ten of Swords, Five of Wands, Ace of Cups, Judgment, and the Eight of Swords. Okay, well, first of all, the bid for the Democratic nomination that was done by Robert F. Kennedy, we're getting a nod right here that there is, we don't know the whole picture yet. There is some information that is not being made public about this decision and the actions that are going on related to his bid. It is, however, a genuine bid. Okay, and it's being it's one that is beneficial to all generations. Okay, so strong family ties there, strong family ties, and other ties are also valued and honored by this gentleman. Okay, in the recent past, we have the Ten of Swords. That's a completion card. It means that it was time for a new start, and Mr. Kennedy has chosen to pursue this political position. That's after this ending. Okay, now this decision is causing some consternation, and there's been a little pushback. I love it personally. The five means that this pushback is a temporary situation, temporary in nature. Okay, and again, it threw the mainstream and some of the mainstream pundits for a loop that he threw his hat into the ring. Okay, let's look though at the near future. Ace of Cups. That is a card of success. Absolutely a card of success. Okay, and if he succeeds with his true political aim, whatever that unknown element is, okay, it's going to also roll in some aspects of judgment for others, and there's a little bit of a waiting period here and a possibility for some compromise to this outcome, but it's not going to be altered greatly. Okay, all right, notice that the one major arcana that shows up is in the near future. Let's get a couple more cards and see if we get some more insights into outcomes here. We have the Moon and the Fool. Okay, now again, we got the ending in the near past. Okay, with the Moon, that's not a happy, joyful card. It usually indicates that there is some losses that can be anticipated, some heartache. Okay, it is helped by the fact that opposite it is the Fool card, which is stepping out in new territory, okay, in faith, and starting down a new path. So while we have a not too happy card here showing up, we do have the Ace of Cups, the Judgment showing up in a very good position here. The Fool card just saying that, again, this is going to be all part of a new era in Mr. Kennedy's future, and possibly for our world and country too. Okay, and that it may be happening in the near future after some losses have been sustained. So we'll have to see what those are. You know, we've been discussing that we're on a path of planetary change, and that change is going to involve some losses, even though it's going to have a lot more in the way of gains. Well, for those of you that have been wanting Chloe to photobomb, while I was working with the cards, she got up here, so she's in my lap. And opposite her, sitting on a bar stool, like it's got her name on it, is Alyeska. Okay, let's recap. We were asking the universe for some insights and information about the candidacy bid that was done by Robert F. Kennedy Jr. this week. We did get that there's going to be a successful outcome to this, but that it may be somewhat not exactly what it seems to be right now. So it may be that he gives up the Democratic bid, and I'm not going to rule out the fact that he may get picked up to be a VP pick on another ticket. That's not impossible. It just depends on how this rolls out, this information that we're not totally aware of, but definitely going to be starting off on a new path in politics. You love that card, do you? And yeah, and Mr. Kennedy is going to be part of that. So that's kind of interesting to see. Okay, and again, the man's got my respect because he uses his name recognition, his platform to share what he believes to be true and to try to get truth out to people. So I like that about him. So I wish him all the best. I hope you do too. And we'll see where these political intrigue situations get us in the long run. Okay. But it does look like it's a genuine bid, but maybe not for exactly what we think it is right now. So we'll watch with interest, right? We're not going to get caught up in it and take too much of our energy away from where it needs to be, being good humans, taking care of our loved ones, our family, watching the geopolitical shenanigans with interest, but not with anxiety, because whatever's going to happen is going to happen, right? And what does happen, the most likely thing that'll happen will be the thing that we think about most. So let's think about fabulous, best possible outcomes in all situations. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for your time. I don't take it for granted. I appreciate every single one of you that view and like and subscribe and support me in one way or another. Very much appreciated. So until next time, when hopefully my own Zoom account will be up and running, I send you love and light and all things bright. If you celebrate Easter, have a beautiful, beautiful celebration of the resurrection. Okay. And know one thing, even though we may be celebrating on a date that's been picked by beings that weren't light-filled, whatever you subscribe to and celebrate in faith, I don't think that can be hijacked. And you may use your powers of consent to make sure that by saying, I do not consent for the faith-filled celebration I'm about to take part in to be that energy to be hijacked, transmuted, used for other purposes other than what I have stated. And this consent is not given for any transmutation or change. So be it. Good night.